Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaha Yom Vishnupadaya Sri Gaura Priyamurtaye Srimate Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswamine Namaha. सबसे पहले पतित पावन परम करुणामय परमाराध्यतम श्रील गुरुदेव नित्यलीला प्रविष्टोम विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज जी के श्रीपाद पद्म में असंख्य कोट साष्टांग दंडवत प्रणाम करते हुए उनकी अहेतु की कृपा प्रार्थना करता हूँ. So, we have been discussing about the glories of the holy name for the last couple of days, in which we are glorifying the life of Srila Namacharya Haridas Thakur. Glorification of the holy name means to glorify Haridas Thakur. Without Haridas Thakur, the mission of spreading the holy name is not possible. So, now, yesterday we were discussing that how this scholar Gopal Chakravarti has lost his senses and then started misbehaving, started abusing and Srila Haridas Thakur, and by having a very wrong way of debate, argument. Even though Srila Haridas Thakur tried his best to pacify him, but still he was not ready to accept it. So finally what happened, even after severe attempts, Haridas Thakur, this person could not calm down. In fact, the discussion is only adding fuel to the fire. So what is the fire? This fellow, this person Gopal Chakravarti, is so ignorant. He is having a kind of speculation, a kind of his own concoction, that he is a great scholar, he has realized so many things. So what he is doing, that he is trying to stick to his debate, his argument, and then trying to look down Srila Haridas Thakur. He is so unfortunate, this person Gopal Chakravarti, because he could not control his temper, he could not control his anger. And also, when you know that a person, when he loses his temper, he doesn't even think about the persons present near them. They immediately start to misbehave with whomsoever the person is. So he was like shouting, and then he says he would like to cut off the nose of Srila Haridas Thakur. And now, that if by namabhas, if liberation is not attained, then he would definitely cut off the nose of Srila Haridas Thakur. That was his statement. And Srila Haridas Thakur He was very merciful and willingly he accepted. He is saying, I am okay with this. I have no problem. You can just cut off my nose. That's not a problem. Why? Because Haridas Thakur was not a mere fanatic kind of person who sticks to his own concoctions and also who sticks to his own convictions, and also not a sectarian who dogmatically fought for his own views. Like there are people, as we already discussed yesterday, they are so reserved. In fact, they are so fanatic and sectarian mindset people. They would only like to present their own words, but at any cost, not at all willing to listen anything. And they can fight, they can do anything. So, what he is doing? But Srila Haridas Thakur is a genuine devotee of the Supreme Lord. He is the genuine, perfect devotee, true devotee. And he has realized what he is expressing. That is more important. Unless you realize, you won't be able to express anything. Even whatever you express without realization is not going to show the desired result. So, that is why what you are preaching, you have to practice first. Preaching without practice creates only disasters. That is one very important thing which we all have to understand. There are so many preachers and like we can say them as platform speakers. They are not following any kind of Vaishnava Sadachar. They are not following any kinds of etiquette or whatsoever it is. They just speak about Krishna. They just speak about devotion. But when it comes to the practical life, they are totally zero. They are nowhere involved or nowhere interested in anything. That is the speciality of such a kind of strange people, and you can find such people these days very much in the most sacred dhams everywhere. And also not only today, in the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there are these 13 kinds of apsampradayas. Almost they all are such kind of people only. Either ignorant followers of some sect, or maybe illiterate people who doesn't have proper knowledge about the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they are not even the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his beloved associates. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, all these Aul, Baul, Karta, Bhaja, Darvesh, Jat, Gosai, Sakhi, Veki, all of them, there are 13 kinds of people with 13 different sampradayas that came out from the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the same way, there are few other sampradayas also which has came out from different other revered organizations, revered paramparas. Because we are in Kali Yuga, so we can't expect any mat or any organization, any parampara to go in a very smooth manner, because it's Kali Yuga. So, Kali Yuga is everywhere. We can't just say that in this particular place there is no Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is not there in the lotus feet of Sri Guru. It is not there in the lotus feet of Harinam. It is not there in the lotus feet of the divine couple. So, one who has taken shelter in the lotus feet of Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagwan and the holy name of the Lord, they are the people, those who are free from the impact of Kali Yuga. If not everyone is under the under the clutches of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is very dangerous. No one can escape from Kali Yuga, the impact of Kali Yuga. So now what happens is, such a kind of people, those who are such a kind of people, they may speak, but interesting thing is that you hardly find any content which was actually realized by them. There is no room for realization. So when at times when they really need to stick to the philosophy, then they get bewildered, they get confused. But a pure devotee, the one who has followed the teachings of Guru Parampara, they are never bewildered, they are never confused at any state of life. They stay rock steady, serious to their Siddhanta. So Haridas Thakur, he is only expressing what he has realized. It's not that he heard it from here and there, because he is not a platform speaker, he is the pure devotee of the Lord. This is one we have to understand very clearly. There are so many people, they listen from different speakers, different acharyas, and then they make nice notes, and after that they try to quote the teachings of the revered acharyas and then present themselves to be a great preachers. Our job is only to perform anukirtan, follow them and only repeat what we have heard from Guru Vaishnavas. Like Parikshit Maharaj, he was asked by his mother Uttara that please speak the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, what you have heard from your spiritual master. So before leaving the body, before the Takshak is arriving, Parikshit Maharaj started speaking in front of his mother. Why? It's because he considered himself to be fortunate to perform Sankirtan. He is not preaching to his mother, he is not conveying any message to her. What he is doing? He is simply performing Sankirtan for his own benefit. So most revered Srila Guru Maharaj would always emphasize on this point, that we have to perform Harikirtan, we have to perform Harikatha for our own purification, not to inspire others. Our job is not to inspire others, our job is to inspire ourselves, that let myself surrender in the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. May I surrender in the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That is more important. There is a saying in Bengali language that Chacha Apan Bacha. Oh my dear friend, save yourself. You save yourself. It's time, high time now. It's not the time to preach, it's the time to practice. You may ask, then Maharaj, why you are preaching? Actually, we are the disciples of most revered Srila Bhakti Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. And then most revered Srila Gurudev has very clearly taught us, never preach, only perform bhajan, only sing kirtan. So it's a way to perform Sankirtan, but it's not preaching. So that's why many of the times when I travel outside India, I emphasize on this point, all the Harikathas which I speak is only for my own purification. Of course, it is helpful for those who are like me. So those who are not like me, they don't need it. It's only helpful for those people, those who are like me, like my mindset. That those who think that this kirtan is for my own purification, bhajan is for my own purification. That's what Srila Gurudev taught. One devotee one time approached Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, and he was asking about, repeatedly talking about preaching. Then Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, he looked at him and he said, "What preaching? Do Hari Bhajan." So a sadhu's way of doing Hari Bhajan is like this. They shravan, they listen when the bona fide authority is speaking, and then kirtan, they sing whatever they heard from the bona fide authority. So today, when we got the chance to hear from Srila Gurudev and Srila Bharti Goswami Maharaj, and of course from Srila Turyashrami Goswami Maharaj and other revered acharyas through their publications. So it's a great benediction from Guru Parampara. So what we heard, now it is the time to perform Sankirtan. That's what we are doing. And that's what is taught by our most revered Srila Gurudev. And in fact, the best is to perform Sankirtan for our own benefit only. Because when we perform Sankirtan for our own benefit, then it's purifying our consciousness. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. When we sit on the Vyasasana or maybe some other place, and then try to quote different verses, and then different topics, different examples, just to convince others and then make them devotee, then actually we don't understand that we are not taking any content for our own self. I can tell you this. From 2010 till 2013, for 4 years, I was continuously staying with Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj, 3.5 to 4 years, continuously, because I started traveling outside India after 2013. And when Srila Maharaj was speaking Harikatha, there are many places, because he would speak in Hindi and I had to translate in English. And also in some places in India, that time we were using Ustream and then Zoom, Zorap. There are a few different softwares which we were using for this live streaming. That time not many people know this, but I strongly believe that Srila Maharaj has recognized, and he gave his benediction for the seva I got the chance to perform. So now I was translating, so I heard, because Maharaj would not remain silent for even a single day, always speaking Harikatha, Harikatha, Harikatha. All the time he is speaking Harikatha. Like Srila Gurudev also, all the time speaking Harikatha only. Srila Maharaj would speak Harikatha all the time, and I had to translate for him for almost all the time. So I heard so much of Harikatha, plenty of Harikatha from Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj in that little time. But unfortunately, I remember nothing. Why? There are two reasons. One, because of useless memory. If I hear today any Harikatha of Srila Maharaj, immediately it reminds me, oh, I heard this, like that. But it's not possible for me to recollect all those Harikathas because of weak memory. And another thing, the most important thing, because that time my focus was only to convert it in a different language and to present to the audience, but not to take for my own benefit. So it's like a machine going on, that he is speaking, I am speaking, he is speaking, I am speaking. But that's why I did word to word translations. And the thing is, even in Hindi also, I got the chance to speak in quite few places with Srila Maharaj. But nothing is in my mind now. The reason is because I was only looking at the audience present, and then I have to translate and pack up my things, pack up my laptop. Now we can stream everything in mobile phones, but that time we had to stream in laptop. I don't think in 2012-13 Facebook was that active. So anyhow, we had to use few different softwares and do it. So anyone who try to collect the information with the sole purpose of preaching for others and trying to convince others and to change them and make them devotee, such persons, it's a wrong idea. We have to understand this. A pure devotee never does that. He keeps on doing his own bhajan. Of course, when he was invited, he goes to the different places, and there also he performs his own bhajan. As he keeps on performing bhajan, the result of the bhajan is transformation of the consciousness of others. The life of others is changed, is transformed. How? Prahlad Maharaj says in Srimad Bhagavatam, one person, all the people can't make one person a devotee. At the same time, all the people can't even distract one person from performing devotional service. Then what happens? It all happens only by the mercy of the pure devotees only. That's why he says to Narada Goswami that you are my Lord, that I was so small, ignorant child, that you have bestowed your mercy upon me, by which I have got this chance to remember the Lord. That's why, that is the speciality. Water, when it is half, it splashes. When it's full, it's peaceful. Anything with half is always dangerous. Half knowledge is always dangerous. So what it is said, a pure devotee, he has fully realized. So he is not fighting for any bookish knowledge, so or maybe some position or power. He is not fighting. He don't need to fight for all those things. A pure devotee doesn't want to be in any position. A devotee's position is not what he or she gets in this material world. A devotee's position is whether I am able to be the loving servant of the Lord or not. That is the only thing which remains in the devotee. Whether I could be the devotee of the Lord or not. My only business is my own bhajan. So whether I could be a devotee who could focus on his own bhajan, or having some other motive, some other directions. That's very important, we have to understand. So Haridas Thakur, he was a kind of personality who was focused more and more on his own sadhana. He was not there to convince anyone that he is there. He is sitting there and he is trying to convince Gopal Chakravarti or the audience sitting. He was just there doing his own bhajan, and they asked him to speak, and he keep on speaking, and one gentleman, he was not ready to accept it, and Srila Haridas Thakur, he is trying to give him the genuine reasons for what he has quoted. When they were not ready to accept it, he was just, it's okay. And also he said, I would give you the punishment that I shall chop your nose off. He said, please do it, no problem. He knows Haridas Thakur, he know that his position very well. because of his practical experience. He said, undoubtedly, if by the dim reflection of the holy name liberation is not attained, I fully agree to cut off my nose. He only said this thing. If undoubtedly, without any doubt, if the holy name, if just by namabhas, if you don't get liberation, I am happy to get my nose chopped off. When he said this, the audience could not remain silent now. And this Majumdar family, Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar, because they invited him, they hosted him, they invited all these priests, all these scholars. So they could not take it, because if you host someone and someone will come and starts to blame, abuse your host, you won't be able to tolerate. That's a natural thing. So now these Majumdar brothers and all other scholars and all other respected people of the village could not take it. So what they did, they were not ready to accept or approve what this foolish Brahmin, this boy is speaking. They all, what they did, they all raised their voice and started speaking against this boy, Gopal Chakravarti. And the two Majumdar brothers rebuked him severely on the spot and utterly commanded his unwarranted behavior. And Balram Acharya, because he is the disciple of Srila Haridas Thakur, he was highly offended. But because when you criticize the spiritual master of some person, how can he take it? So Balaram Acharya, he could not take it anymore now. He was like so painful for him. And what he said? He said, you are a fool. You are an ass. What you are doing? You boast so much because of your learning, because of your knowledge. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his one of his kirtans, he says, Vidyara vilase katainu kal paramasahasyami. I am such a fearless person because of my knowledge, because of my learning, my scholarship. I spend my time very nicely. What happened? I have attained so much of worldly education. But as a result of worldly education, what happened? Only my worldly opulences have been increased. Worldly, this material worldly opulences increased. And finally, I could not even understand that when that moment has come when I have become a donkey. And now, after I became a donkey, I started carrying severe weight on my shoulders. He says, Jada vidyariyat mayar vaibhav tomar bhajane badha moh janmiya nitya sansare jeev ke karaye gadha. Jada vidyariyat mayar vaibhav. It's an opulence of this material world. Tomar bhajane badha. It's a very big hindrance in the bhajan, in Naam bhajan. Moh janmiya anitya sansare. Anitya sansare means this momentary world. Moh janmiya, so much of illusion. We are like illusion manifests in us, in this material world. We get illusioned by this material world and worldly opulences. And finally we become donkey. That's why we can understand what happens. Donkey is in such a big illusion when the donkey is not walking. So this person, what he does, he carries some vegetable or something to show to the donkey, this is what you will be getting. So, maybe some carrots or whatsoever it is. So, what he does, like he is just like the person is like now dangling something. It can be carrot or maybe something what donkey would love to eat, in front of the donkey with a stick like this. And now the donkey sees the vegetable and then trying to catch it, it keeps on walking. As much as the donkey is walking, the vegetable is also going forward. He could not understand that I am carrying huge load and the person sitting behind is holding it. If the vegetable stops and the donkey goes in the front, it can eat. But here it is a different question. The donkey is carrying the weight, expecting to eat that vegetable. So, person is also like that only, carrying our ignorance, carrying this worldly knowledge which is good for nothing. We have seen quite few people, they are very highly educated, very nice, but the moment their brain is damaged, they remain for nothing. Whatever they have studied all those years, everything has gone in vain in a moment. That is this world, that is the nature of this world, that is it, nothing more than this. And this person, Gopinath Balram Acharya, what he says, you are a fool, you don't know about bhakti, you can't understand about bhakti, what devotion is, you only speak because you are a fool. A foolish person, what he speaks, he also don't know at times. So, what he said, that this is not the place of your verbal jugglery. You may use a kind of words and verbal language and then you think that you can do it everything. Not possible, because this is not that place. This is the place for bhakti. This is not the place for any argument. And because you are a fool, that is why fools rush. All these foolish people, they rush to the place where angels, they are scared, they fear, like that. So, anyhow, what he is saying, you are a kind of person who has dug a hole, you have dug your own grave. In fact, you have dug your own grave. How? By insulting the great devotee Haridas Thakur. So, inevitable, what is inevitable? That your downfall is inevitable. Your suffering is waiting for you. Soon it is going to come to you and no one can help you. All these things, everything what I say is inevitable. He said this. So, when he saw the panic situation around, Srila Haridas Thakur has decided, no, now I should leave. So, he rose up and then he took permission of this Majumdar brothers and then he left. That time, along with Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar, all those scholars, those who are present there, all those Brahmins, those who are present there, they all fell on the feet of Srila Haridas Thakur and begging for forgiveness, that may you please forgive all of us, because it is our fault, please forgive us. And Srila Haridas Thakur, he says that he says with a sweet smile, and then what he is saying is consoling them, please don't feel bad, please don't feel bad, none of you has made any offense, Even I don't consider that person also, Gopal Chakravarti also made some offense. It's only his ignorance which made him speak like this. He's ignorant. He don't know what he's saying. He don't know what he's doing. A pure devotee never criticizes the person. He only speaks about the subject which is the cause of that criticism. So they criticize the sin, not the sinner. That is their speciality. We don't identify the sinner and the sin separate. According to us, the sinner and the sin both are one. But for personalities like Srila Haridas Thakur and the revered Acharyas, they see the sin different from the sinner. So they criticize the sin committed by the sinner, but they don't criticize the sinner. They show their compassion to the sinner so that he can quit committing such sins and change his life. Srila Haridas Thakur, he smiled and he said, actually he is also not at fault. But the village was scared because of the Vaishnava aparat, because of the fear of committing this offense against a pure devotee. Because of this ignorant Brahmin boy, who is Gopal Chakravarti, because of him, what happened? Because of him, they believe that they have offended Srila Haridas Thakur. So they all are begging. What they are doing? All the persons gathered there knew something about the sayings of Shastras and the grave consequences of insulting great devotees. They all know, intelligent people, wise people, they know that what is the consequence of blaming a devotee, of insulting a Vaishnava. So at any cost we should not offend a devotee. Whatsoever happens in our life, there it is a devotee. They did not say only Uttam devotee. Many people, in the name of searching for Uttam, they hardly consider any others as Vaishnava. It can be Madhyam also, it can be Kanishta also, it can be aspiring Kanishta also, anyone it can be. In fact, a pure devotee doesn't want to criticize an ordinary jiva even, because the Lord in the form of that small tiny spark is residing in the region of the heart of each and every jiva. Like that. So that's why no offenses against anyone. It may be a Vaishnava or may not be a Vaishnava. A sincere person who wants to attain Krishna should give up the nature of committing Vaishnava aparat, of the nature of committing offense against devotees, against nice people. So what he said here, the glory of the divine name lies beyond the scope of human intelligence and arguments. Haridas Thakur says this. The glory of the holy name is beyond. It's beyond. Beyond what? The scope of human intelligence. So that's why with our intelligence, or with our mind or ego or anything else whatsoever it is, we can't just understand the glories of the holy name like that, or any kinds of arguments. Tarko apratishthita. By logic, by argument, by debates, there is no possibility of proving the Siddhanta. Siddhanta is only realized by practice, but there is no possibility of convincing anyone with logic about the Lord and His holy name and the creation or whatsoever it is. especially the ultimate tattva, the pure devotional principles, nothing is going to reveal or going to manifest to the person who is more focused on arguments, more engaged in debates. Intellectual achievements, however great and outstanding they may be, are utterly inadequate to have any access to the divine name and its marvelous potencies. You may have so many intellectual achievements, but that is not going to help the person to realize or to have any access towards the holy name and the potency of the holy name. Hence, from where can he get these most secret principles? Please retire to your respective houses. So Srila Haridas Thakur says this. Even though the person may be intellectual, and because of his intellectual, because of his intellect, he might have achieved so many things. But bhakti is beyond intelligence, beyond the comprehension of intelligence, mind, or ego. So that's why it's not possible for a person to have access to the divine name and its potencies. So that's why how can this person can get these most secret principles? Not possible. So now you please retire, means please leave and then go to your respective houses. And then he blessed everyone. May you all be, by the mercy of Sri Krishna, attain eternal good. On my account, let not anyone feel sorry. Haridas Thakur took leave and then all returned to his hut. Haridas Thakur, he says that from my side, please don't feel bad, because I have not taken it as an offense, and it's not an offense even. Saying this, he has blessed everyone and then took leave and went back to his hut, which was made for him by Balram Acharya. Now what happens? The first action of Hiranya Majumdar on returning home was to prevent Gopal Chakravarti from crossing his doorsteps. Gopal Chakravarti had not to wait long for the consequences of his offensive behavior, because he had made an argument and offended Srila Haridas Thakur by saying that I will chop your nose. And now what happens? Because of this, he need not wait for long time. Many a times when someone makes some offense and it takes some time for the fruit to come, we sow different kinds of seeds. Sometimes we sow mango or coconut, and then there's different kinds of seeds, maybe some chili or maybe dhania, different seeds, or spinach. And now different seeds take different amount of time to sprout and to grow and to reap the fruits. It takes different times. In the same way, there are, like even in the offenses also, sometimes it takes some time so to come out, for the result to come out. Now, but this person, because he has committed a blunder offense against the lotus feet of Srila Haridas Thakur, so the consequence has come so quickly. Vaishnu Aprad is not going to disappear. Haristane aparade tare harinam. If we keep on doing harinam, whatever namaprad we perform, that will disappear by the mercy of the holy name. Tomarstane aparade nahi ko add on. We will not find any shelter if we have ever committed an offense against the Vaishnava. Today it may appear that this person is abusing the Vaishnava, and today we may see like that. But there is a tomorrow, and tomorrow can be here, there, or anywhere. We never know. It totally depends on the will of the Lord, where the Lord wants to punish. So no one who has offended a Vaishnava can never escape. There is a possibility sometimes a person is a Vaishnava, but there is a possibility that he might have done something wrong. So the repentance in the heart of the Vaishnava, that is visible to the Lord, but that's not visible to the conditioned soul. He is repenting, he is engaged constantly in the service of the Lord and repenting for what he has done and what he has been doing, because he has no control over his senses. So he is unable to rectify his mistake, he is unable to control himself. What to do? For him it is very difficult to control, but what to do? So he is crying, begging for forgiveness and repenting every day, every moment. But the foolish person is unable to see this. He is unable to understand this quality of the Vaishnava, and then makes offense. What happens at the end? Such person who is what he is doing? Abusing the Vaishnava, criticizing the Vaishnava, ultimately have to reap the result of his criticism in the lotus feet of those Vaishnava. That's why the Lord says, Apichet su duracharo bhajite mam ananya bhav. A person may be a sudurachar, he has done what he is not supposed to do, but still he is repenting, crying from the deep of the crying from the core of the heart with so much of pain. Lord will definitely rescue him. But what will happen to those people, those who are the offenders? It's not so easy. Vaishnava aparat. There are quite few preachers, those who preach that all others are not preaching the right Siddhanta. No one speaks about right Siddhanta. No one is a sincere devotee. By saying this, it's nice. By saying this, the person feels that I am genuinely speaking. But he is unable to understand in a subtle form. He is criticizing the whole community of sincere devotees and then sincere preachers. So Vaishnava aparat should not be done. If what others are committing is an offense, then what this person is doing, what we understand this? Offense is an offense, whomsoever is committing. No one should commit Vaishnava aparat. The result of Vaishnava aparat is only misery. The result of Vaishnava aparat is only suffering, and a suffering which has no end. There is no other shelter. Only Vaishnavas can forgive, no one else can forgive. Like that. Even Durvasa, such a dangerous personality, such a strong personality, such a great personality. But when he has offended Ambarish Maharaj, he had to go here and there to Brahmaloka, to Kailash, to here, to Indra, everywhere, inside the sea, in the Himalayas, everywhere. But there was no chance of any rescual for him. There is no chance. And he is a person who can speak to all the three primary gods, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So he has gone to all three of them, spoke to them. What to talk of a conditioned soul? Even such a personality who can go to Vaikuntha and converse with Vishnu, and now today he has no shelter where he can come because of the Vaishnava aparadh he has committed. Vaishnava aparadh is so dangerous. Those who take it in a very light way, and then those who offend Vaishnavas by doing some political activities, ultimately they are those who are losers. They will lose everything. Only those who are intelligent, they understand this, that we should not commit Vaishnava aparadh at any cost, because if a Vaishnava is offended, life is completely finished, because Lord will not tolerate, nature is not going to tolerate. Nature is not going to tolerate anything. Even demigods are also so scared to commit Vaishnava aparadh. Bhadrakali, who is considered to be one of the most ferocious form in Kurukshetra, and this Bhadrakali, her devotees, they brought Jada Bharat and they wanted to offer her. They wanted to give sacrifice, make sacrifice. She appeared there and she chopped the head of all her devotees and just did pranams to Jada Bharat. Why she did this? Because of the fear she has that if she doesn't control and if she doesn't chastise those devotees of Bhadrakali, she knows that her position will not remain after that. Like that. Vaishnava aparadh, even demigods are also scared of Vaishnava aparadh. Everyone is scared of Vaishnava aparadh. If someone is a Vaishnava, there should not be any offense against him or her, whatever, towards the Vaishnava, because it will spoil bhakti, it will spoil life, it will spoil everything. At the end, person remains nothing. What you have in your hand at the end, there is nothing. What you attained, nothing. Life has gone in vain. So now, this Gopal Chakravarti, he could see the consequences easily, that what has happened, the result was seen. What happened? In 3 days' time, within 3 days, he was attacked with an acute type of leprosy. He is such a charming body, very intelligent person, very nice person, and also coming from high class Brahminical family. He is one among those scholars, very intellectual people, very nice, even after possessing all the good qualities of the time. But still, because of offending a Vaishnava, what happened? All of a sudden he had a kind of leprosy. As a result of leprosy, different parts of his body were affected, and the most especially the part which was affected is the nose, and finally his nose has completely it got burnt completely because of the leprosy, and then there was no nose anymore now, because he the nose has become the victim of his body. So it totally disappeared from his face. There is no nose now. It was followed by the delicate and beautiful fingers and toes. They too got withered, and what happened? Like you can see that the fingers, they become dry and then they come close, and then the shape is completely changed. Everything is finished after that. So in this way, because he has criticized Haridas Thakur and he said that I shall cut off your nose then the Lord says, okay, your desire is to cut off the nose, let me do it to you only, because he is my devotee. If you want to chop his nose, I am there to protect him, but who is there to protect you? And you should get a lesson. So that's why offenders, they always receive good lesson. Now because he offended Haridas Thakur, he got the lesson. How? Through leprosy. So the village people, now they saw him. They saw, and they all were like struck to see that what has happened to this person. And also because of the terrible turn of the face of Gopal Chakravarti, his whole body have this disease. This body has all this disease, and then the nose, everything, everywhere. As a result of Vaishnava Prat, in the name of glorification of other Vaishnavas, it is very dangerous to criticize some other Vaishnavas. In the name of glorification, glorifying someone else, we should not criticize anyone, especially the pure devotees of the Lord. That is going to cost too high. So what all these people did, they all understood, like the glory of Srila Haridas Thakur has touched the heart of each and every one. Oh, so glorious this personality is. It's not so simple, so easy what we see. It's so glorious. That's why what happened? Those who offended him, they saw the result. Those who offended Haridas Thakur has seen the result. And then the whole village came to Srila Haridas Thakur and did their revered pranams to Srila Haridas Thakur. What we have to understand is the holy name is only attained to those who surrender to the holy name. And then the essence of the holy name is understood by those who have chanted the holy name, realized the holy name. And also those who criticize such great personalities, they have to see severe consequences in their life. So we have to be very careful while performing our sadhana. Instead of running behind different mellows and different other things, first we have to practice to purify our own consciousness. And also first we have to learn to respect Vaishnavas, to respect the holy name, to chant the holy name and beg for the mercy of the holy name. We shall discuss the remaining further tomorrow. Thank you very much.